Welcome to my 50 match summary. Every week I take one of the meta breakers that I show every Sunday and run it on the best of one ladder. And the idea to take 50 matches and to see how the deck is doing and to kind of walk through some of the gameplay. And this week, I think I'm going to be shy of the 50 matches. I have been bumping into a fair amount of control, which has been a little bit of a problem for this archetype specifically. So the reason why I selected it as a meta breaker is that the Golgari mid-range deck, or as it used to be called, the Rock, is a very good counter to Mono-Red. So if you're bumping into a lot of Mono-Red on your ladder climb, then this deck is pretty good. I actually have been doing relatively well against Azorius Control, less so against Temur Control and Domain, basically because of the 3 copies of Liliana of the Veil. So Liliana of the Veil, if you discard cards, make them Hellbent, Azorius Control can really struggle with Liliana of the Veil, especially because they don't run a lot of Planeswalker removal. So Get Lost really being one of their only options to hit Lily. And then if you can get her to her ultimate, then you wipe their lands, and then Azorius Control really struggles if they're not having their land drops. But basically, we've got a lot of disruption, like Cut Down, Duress to attack their hand, Go for the Throat, Long Goodbye, so lots of point removal. Mosswood Dreadknight as a recurring threat, Tear Asunder for a little bit of artifact or enchantment hate. You can also kick this for 4 and exile a non-land permanent, including Planeswalkers. Graveyard Trespasser for a little bit of graveyard hate. Preacher of the Schism, which spawns 1/1 vampires with lifelink and draws you cards depending on life totals. Path of Peril, which is the primary board sweeper for Boros Convoke. Sentinel of the Nameless City is a 3/4 vigilance that whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you create a map token. 1 copy of Glissa Sunslayer for a little bit of enchantment hate, as well as you can hit their... If this damages them, you can remove 3 counters from a permanent like Jace, or you can use it to draw a card and lose 1 life. And if you have Shieldred in play, whenever you draw a card, you gain a life. So same thing with Mosswood Dreadknight. If you're drawing a card and losing 1 life from the adventure side, this actually gains you a life to do so. And then we've got 1 copy of Akelzot's Deepest Betrayal, which is some good stabilization against the more aggressive strategies. We've got 1 Deadly Cover-Up and 1 Gix's Command, so that gives us a total of 5 Wraths. Path of Peril, notably, is going to be a pretty weak card in some matchups, like against the Temur Control. It's a little bit unimpressive. But when you come up against Domain, which is really the the crux of this deck, is the Domain matchup is highly unfavored. Path of Peril at least gives you an option to play it after their herd migration. So again, if you want to know what the cards are specifically good at, every Friday I go in a deep dive over an archetype, and it's the best of 3 sideboard guide, but it still is applicable to best of 1, and I do think there's some really interesting information, which is why I do it. So this one was the meta breaker by 1 second here. Sorry, I had to pull up my notes. So this was the Golgari mid-range list by Hero, and it had a 61% win rate with 67 wins and 42 losses. And notably, it was not running the 4 copies of Deep Cavern Bat, which is pretty common to see in this archetype, because the Deep Cavern Bat's kind of weak against Mono-Red, and during the first week of Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Mono-Red and Mono-Red Prowess were quite common. But I've been enjoying the deck. I do think it's fun. Showcase you guys some of my favorite matches from the 50 or so. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 50 matches if I can. Otherwise, it's going to be like 5 hours of gameplay. But I'll take my favorite matches as is tradition. So please enjoy. And if you're new here, remember to click like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I do try to make daily Magic the Gathering content that ranges from standard constructed to... draft as well. So we've got the Arena Open and the Best of 1 play-in are both tomorrow, as well as my Cash ACDC, the Cash Open, is on Saturday. So we're going to have a lot of limited content coming your way if that's your jam. If it's not, you know, that's what the downside is, that some people only watch me for my constructed content. Some people only watch me for the draft content. So can't please everybody. But anyway, I'll see you at the end for the match summary, and enjoy the gameplay. All right, we're going first. We've got Cut Down, Go for the Throat, Path of Peril into Preacher of the Schism and Gix's Command. Seems like a pretty good hand. Started off with Takanuma here so that we can hold up the Cut Down if we are up against like Mono-Red. Hopefully we hit land 3. Otherwise we've got a lot of really good interaction. And we're up against Temur Control. Okay, so this one has been a tough matchup. And our removal is not going to look particularly good here. They could be doing like a turn 2 Shigeki or a turn 2 Aftermath Analyst, which would be nice to get some of this payoff here. So that's good. So we're going to keep the Go for the Throat for the 3/3. Hope to hit a land here. And it's a tap land. Okay. Well, at least we have land 3 for Preacher next turn. Again, if they play the Nissa, we can use Go for the Throat. See if they just pass here. There's the Nissa. Okay, so we're going to use Go for the Throat on Nissa. Terra Sunder is a pretty decent draw. We can use that against their green enchantment. Virtue of Strength. And since they have more life than us, we should get a 1/1. Okay, we can use... Duress here is pretty good. Better than any of the other options. We can also keep Terra Sunder. Guess I'll do the Duress first before attacking. I don't think it's super important, but let's see what is in their hand. So they have the Ill-Timed Explosions. Nothing really great to discard other than another Ill-Timed Explosion. Wrath is kind of gross. I think I would rather prevent them from ramping with the World Soul's Rage, though. And just let them do the Ill-Timed Explosion. Maybe they discard the second copy as well. We've got the Restless Cottage, if they do go for board wipes over and over. And we can get rid of the any of the Memory Deluges if they hit those. They're holding on to the Aftermath Analyst here until they hit 6 lands. So once they hit 6 lands, they'll be able to play the Aftermath Analyst and immediately pop it. It's nice here that they don't have Memory Deluge in hand. Okay, that's fine. 2 Virtue of Strength's a little bit unfortunate, but we can use our Go for the Throat to remove Nissa. Keep attacking here. They just gain so much life, you know. That's and like this deck really does peak around turn 4, turn 5, where the Ill-Timed Explosions then kind of reset the board. So no untapped land from our opponent though. That's Spelunking makes it untapped. Right. So I can't use Go for the Throat immediately. If I do, in response they just sack it, and then they get all of their delicious stuff. I'm still gonna do it because it causes them to do it now. I could have done Terra Sunder on the Spelunking. Maybe I should have done that because then it wouldn't have been an untapped land, and I could have time walked them from their strategy. Maybe I should still do that because all of these are going to enter play untapped. I think it's enough that they can actually play Virtue. I think if they play the Virtue out, though, it's better for me. So I'm just going to let this resolve. Let them get their 7 untapped sources. Maybe that's wrong. Oh, they didn't... Oh, that was end of turn. So they weren't able to do the Virtue of Strength. Well, so the issue here is that they cast a Virtue of Strength. They get another... they can cast the other Virtue of Strength, and then each one of their lands is tapping for 9, and they can draw into something, and it's toast. So we got to keep up Terra Sunder, not play Shelly. we haven't even gotten them below 20, right? So this is kind of what I was talking about with the not feeling like this is a particularly good... Wait, they didn't Virtue. Why didn't they Virtue? There's the board wipe, fine. Really? I thought they would have gone for Virtue of Strength. I guess they're still planning on doing that. And the fact that they hit 2 of them is unfortunate. Okay, so there's the Virtue of Strength. Let's not let them have a bazillion mana. I could Path of Peril doesn't hit Nissa. So I think it's either Mosswood Dread Knight, draw a card, and play out a 3-2, or it's just play Shieldred. And I guess I'm going to hope that they're kind of stuck. Because they can play out a Virtue of Strength. But then what? So, you know, I'm surprised they discarded their draw. Didn't lead out with the Virtue of Strength. Last 2 cards are, drumroll, World Soul's Rage. Okay, well, we're not dead yet. Just very close to dead. And this is why this deck is so brutal in paper, keeping track of all of these triggers. Makes it a little bit more of a friendly arena option. But this is a difficult matchup, as I mentioned, and it's just so much life gain, right? So we could bring in some specific graveyard hate. We do have the Graveyard Trespasser, which would have been nice to hit in this matchup, and you do also have, like, there's a green card that exiles all graveyards. Cycling. Okay, so this is the card that we saw brought in for the PT Pro Tour, bringing in the Fires of Victory. We go to 1. Okay. Okay. Guess we're not drawing on our adventure then. They can trade their Nissa. I have to block with the Dread Knight, and then I can't bring it back. So I think we're gonna lose here the old-fashioned way. We can always go out on our terms. Okay, not dead. That was a really good top deck. Please say that you just have, like, you just don't have it. We can Gix's Command it to make it into a 6/6. Gain 6 life. If they have removal for this, then we're really... Yeah, it's just dead. Okay. Wait. You could bring back a creature or land. Ah, Memory Deluge. Okay. Well, Memory Deluge probably means they can hit into something that deals 1 damage. Yeah. Alright, well, that's, you know, I didn't expect the Pro Tour to shift the meta, because there's been so much more control, right? So, like, I'm not sure that this is very well positioned this time around. Alright, we've got a turn. Okay, we can do turn 1 Duress with the Llanowar Wastes. Or we could Cottage, then do turn 2 Duress and another Cottage, and that sets us up to have 3 untapped for Sentinel. So that's probably the line that I'll take. Notably, that Path of Peril was rather unimpressive against Temur Control, which is why I'm not 100% on having 3 copies in, unless you're coming up against a lot of Boros Convoke, which I haven't been as much as week 1. Ah. Speak of the devil. We got Boros Heroic or Boros Convoke. Okay. Now we've got Path of Peril, and I got no complaints. So let's see how much they develop the board into this. At least they didn't have Voldaren Epicure or Novice Apprentice into Gleeful Demolition. That's the most explosive kind of start. Turn 1 Warden is a little awkward. Go for pumping this up here. This destroys mana value 2 or less, so it doesn't matter what power this is. It kind of makes sense for them to pump the Warden to try to get out of range of the cut down, or no, cut down. And then here we've got Regal Bunnycorn, which this also hits. If they go Novice Inspector and then Knight Errant of Eos, that's a little bit worse. Okay. All right, so we've got to figure out an answer to the Knight Errant of Eos. Lunarch Veteran would be a nice one to get out of their graveyard with the Graveyard Trespasser. But at this point, we've just got to reset things and take the 4 damage. I guess if I take a ton of, if I'm willing to take 7 damage, I could get additional stuff, because next turn they dump this again, and maybe I'm going to struggle against that. Depends on how much they'll actually play into the Wrath or not. Right now I'm getting 3 cards with my Path of Peril, though. I think it's too good. I'm going to go for it. Slow them down a little bit. All right. They're an Epicure, so now Bunny's pretty big. 4/4. Yeah. I think maybe that was wrong. Maybe I should have waited on the Path of Peril and been greedy and tried to get a 6-for-1. We could top deck another one, though. And they didn't play the Lunarch Veteran, so we will be able to get that with the Trespasser. We're going to need removal for the Knight Errant of Eos. Oh, or we could just play Shieldred, and then now we need just removal for Warden of the Inner Sky. And Shieldred gives us a life gain. Ooh, I like that more. Problem is Warden can immediately start hitting us for 4 turns, so we need to draw removal for that. Hopefully they play Bunny instead of the Lunarch Veteran. Okay. It's a big threat too. What do we do? So if we can answer the Warden of the Inner Sky by either getting a Path of Peril or go for the Throat, we're still kind of in trouble. Oh, they tapped. Oops, they did not mean to do that. I guess we can duress here. I could also attack with the Restless Cottage. Oh, the Restless Cottage dies to the 7/7. Never mind. I think we just go for duress their hand. Maybe it's something like Case of the Gateway Express or Warley. No, it's a Recruiter. Oh boy. Well, let's gain the 1 life. Get rid of the Lunark Veteran. They're down to 9. So if we can survive, if we can live, it's close. But it's a big ask to try to live. Okay. So this right here is 14 damage. Jumping with the Trespasser feels bad. Oh wait, can we no, we can't live, right? I have to block one of these, because that right there is 19. Okay. I could trade. I could go Shieldred here and here, but then Shelly gives us 2 life. Don't think it's going to be good enough either way. If I top deck removal, we have a chance. Land is not removal, but land lets me pop a food for 9. They can just tap 3 and tap 3 and have lethal with Warden. They might not see it. If I attack with the Restless Cottage, they would have to block. Problem is it's a 4/5, not... So it would just eat this. Then we go to 9. Can't do that. So I guess I'm just playing out both cards and then saying GG if they see the line. Pump up the Warden. Maybe they tap their Warden like they did last time. Okay, so far they didn't tap Warden. Ah, they didn't screw it up this time around, okay. Dang. Alright, well, so I guess I should have been more greedy with my Path of Peril and tried to let them develop the board into it. Alright, we're going first. We've got tap land, cut down. We could lead out with Takenuma, keep up the cut down, then play this on turn 2 so that we have 3 for Glissa or for Lily. I think that's probably the best against the widest range of things. If we're up against Control, we might want to be able to bring this back. Elegant Parlor. Interesting. Surveil here. Do we want the Long Goodbye? I think so. We could try to hit land 4, but right now, turn 3 into a turn 3 into a turn 3 seems fine. There's a lot of turn 3s in this deck. So I'm going to keep this one. We might be up against another Control deck. Ah, Jeskai Control. Okay, so we're likely to get counterspelled here. I think I'm going to lead out with the Glissa and see if we can get them to counter... Okay, they didn't have a counterspell. Should have played Lily. If we are actually up against Jeskai Control. They could Lightning Helix Glissa. What is this? Cutdown's feeling kind of sus here. 4 colors? Alright. Take the draw. I'm gonna play out Lily and go for the discard a card. Damn it. Okay, so definitely did that wrong. So I should have done Lily on turn 3. How did they have the double blue for that? Oh no, they drew the cards instead of, they didn't have the double blue. So let's discard the cut down. I think is going to be weak against control. Ill-timed explosion only deals damage to creatures, so it doesn't hit Lily. What's this? Leer? We got a Leer deck? Three steps ahead? What's going on? Let's see. Leer is not... Okay, so I think we can still get rid of the cut down. Keep just making them discard a card.
Don't overthink things.
See if we can get a Lily win here. That's a good threat. It's all right. Okay, so what's their win con? Hinata? I haven't seen Hinata for a while. Okay. 3 or less, so it doesn't hit Hinata. It's too bad. So we make them sacrifice Hinata? Wait, they knew that I was going to do that, so they have to have a plan. Ah, they phase it out. Okay. Means our Lily's dead.
Off you go.
Gotcha. Makes sense. We can always replay Lily. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast for each target. So we can't really long goodbye. Oh my god, they doppelganged.
No more
Okay.
distractions. Let's make this quick.
At least both things are legendary. But then they make me sacrifice Shieldred. Damn.
Ah, one of your friends has to leave.
That was huge. I'm toast, right?
A delay,
So
nothing more.
this is a copy, right? From Doppelgang, so it has the mana value of 4 in the top right. It's tokens used to cost 0. Long Goodbye does not hit it. Long Goodbye does hit Lily. Oh, did I have 2 up? I could have done the Long Goodbye last turn. Alright. This is not looking particularly great. I guess I get their last card. They either give me Hinata or Shieldred.
The mysteries. I've come. Off you go.
Makes sense. Oh, wait, yeah, what am I thinking? I can't also get their last card. Alright.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Maybe? Maybe? Come on, they have to draw something like another phase. Okay. Memory Deluge is gonna give them what they need. They had to back up Hinata. Yeah, this High Noon has really made control matchups interesting. And top decking lands. You can't defeat me. Flashback with Memory Deluge, dig through 7, pick your best 2 cards. If we're not dead this turn, then we're very close, right? Because they can pop this for 5. They've got 9 damage on board. They have to come up with 4 damage. Pop this, play another High Noon, attack with Hinata, that does it. Even more doppelgangs. Aha, okay. Well, now we're definitely dead. I'm going to play the Path of Peril and shake their hand. Good game. All right, we're on the play. We've got removal. We've got Mosswood Dread Knight and Sentinel. This looks pretty good. Guess I'll just lead out with the Swamp, play the Wastes next turn, probably take 1 damage. Play this out as a 3-2. Okay, let's see. We've got Inspiring Vantage. Is this... Are we just in an infinite cycle of control decks? I feel like this is also going to be like a control deck. Because it's not Boros Convoke with not doing anything on turn 1 or 2. Yeah, so we're up against like Boros Control. Okay, it's a lot of control decks for my mid-range strategy. Maybe I should just be jamming mono-red. And they're playing Forge? I guess we could hit our Terra Sunder. That's a pretty decent top deck. I think we can afford to let Forge get a little bit bigger before we kill it. We haven't seen blue, so we don't have to worry about counter spells. Because this is just too much value to play the Restless, get this, draw a card. Guess if I had done it the other way around, I could have played the Glade and gotten rid of it. But popping a map token here on Sentinel is fine. Path of Peril feels bad in this matchup. Feels like a control matchup again. See if they have removal for Sentinel of the Nameless City. And we have removal for Forge. So Terra Sunders felt really good. I almost think we maybe should be more of these in the deck. I'm going to just take the damage because I think that, like, if this goes to 3, it gets Lightning Helixed. They didn't attack with the 1-1, but they did with the 2-1. So... Archangel Elspeth. Okay. Oh, they're at 5. Okay, Archangel Elspeth is 4 costs. We can't hit it with Long Goodbye. If I hit the +1 on the map token, we can kill Archangel Elspeth and get rid of the Forge. Please not a land. Damn it! Alright, well, we can put Archangel Elspeth to 1. And then they created... It's a little bit of a distraction. I could also just go face, but Elspeth gains so much life. I think I go with Long Goodbye over Go for the Throat. Really too bad we hit the land there, because this would have been a devastating turn. Still pretty good. So I could have put him to 10.
I won't be intimidated.
We've got the Restless Cottage as well, which should be good. Case of the Crimson Pulse. What's been nice about this deck, though, is despite being up against an ungodly amount of control decks, is at least it's not mono-red over and over, right? So Terra Sunder won us that one. All right, so we're going first. We'll lead out with the Restless Cottage, followed up by Mosswood Dread Knight, then Preacher and Shieldred, and then Acklazotz if we curve out. Looks pretty good to me. Now, you could start things off with drawing from the Mosswood Dread Knight. I prefer to usually just go for the 3-2 and then play it out for the adventure when it dies. Restless Bivouac. Another Boros Control? Or Temur Control? I can't believe I haven't... I've played, like, Mono-Red, like, twice. This is Boros Angels. Huh. Well, I guess we offer the trade with Dread Knight and just keep curving out here. There's no way they block. Why is this... I'm not sure. There's no artifact or enchantment, right? Not really sure why Terra Sunder's highlighted. Because we'd have to kick it to get rid of Giada. Okay, Resplendent Angel. Nice. Okay. So, I think Resplendent Angel's gotta die. Maybe it's right to just keep playing Shieldred, but if they play something that gains them 5 life, it's not good. And if I do play removal, I can continue to attack. It's very tempo negative, though, because I'm not staying mana efficient. So I think I'm actually just going to attack with the Preacher, offer the trade there, and then play Shieldred. And since we're up in life, we're going to draw a card and lose a life, so I'm going to play it pre-combat. Oh, okay, wait, no, if we're tied, we get both, so that works perfectly. Okay. So next turn, we can go for the removal suite. Cut down hits Giada. Go for the throat, gets the Resplendent Angel. This plan only backfires if they can gain 5 life this turn, and I don't think they can. Because if they get the white flyer, it's pretty brutal. Okay. That's a target. 10. Both. All right. Okay, so they're at 11 life essentially. So this is 5, 9, 10 damage. We're 1 damage shy. Dang it. I guess again we're just gonna... They can't pump this until turn 6. So if I go for the throat and cut down... Yeah, I'll go cut down... Guess we could stay mana efficient and go Terra Sunder instead of go for the throat. It does exile. I don't know if that'll matter. Don't think it makes sense to leave anything behind because they go to 1 here. Can you deal 7 damage? I don't think I had any way of dealing 1 damage to them. Okay, Lightning Helix. That gains them 3. Looking at a double Lightning Helix. Ah, to get the 4/4 blocker. Okay. 2 4/4s. I think I'd go for the throat on Resplendent Angel and then offer the trade with Preacher. They were close to having lethal, right? If they'd done the 2 Lightning Helixes to my face instead of Shieldred, they would put me to 1. See, I also have 5 attackers, so bottom 3 would get in. We want to think about with the Restless Cottage, which would leave them at 1. So pretty sure I just go with let's get rid of the Resplendent Angel. I've had enough of that nonsense. Attacking with Preacher. Okay, I think I will play the Trespasser instead of the Sentinel, because it gains me back that life. Now, who knows? Maybe they're playing Graveyard Recursion. All right, 3 cards remain. What you got? I could have also played Outlaws and passed. This does have Vigilance, so it can attack in without tapping. Maybe it was right to actually kill the 4/4 token instead of the Resplendent Angel. No, because I had the 6 to gain life. Never mind. Thinking out loud. So Outlaws' Deepest Betrayal is going to be our answer here. We got to be careful, though, because if I attack with Preacher, I'm very close to dead. Are they still annoyingly not dead? If I activate the Restless Cottage... No, because I ping them for 1, right? So bottom 3 get in, and bottom 3 is 5 damage. So I think they're dead. Okay. So we want to get rid of a creature. Then a Lightning Helix. Pretty sure that does it. Oh, I have 6 attackers. I can has math. All right. And we got the trample through. Maybe I had lethal last turn. I'm going to have to go back and look at that one. But if I had activated the land the turn before, I think I might have actually had lethal on board. But Boros Angels. Okay, so we've got Disruption, and that's it. This is probably a mulligan. I don't like to mulligan, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to go Restless Cottage turn 2 Duress, probably play another Restless Cottage. Go from there. We could land on War Waste and do the Duress if we really wanted to do a turn 1. Okay, it looks like we're up against Boros Convoke again. So we do have the option. Excuse me. Oh, mono-white humans. Okay. Well, change of plans. Mono-white humans does not have a lot for Duress to hit. So, we're going to go with Long Goodbye on Coppercoat Vanguard. I think it's okay. I mean, it is instant speed. We don't have to sorcery speed it. If they play a Thalia, that would be unfortunate. They're not really going to be playing like the Lauren's Escape or anything, so could have played that a little differently. I guess I could Duress here because it's like what else am I doing, but I'd rather, I think, get the Restless Cottage down. And then here, hold up the Go for the Throat. See if they play something before they attack. Maybe they will. And now they play Adeline. And I'm really hosed. Oh, or we could just draw a whole bunch of land. Okay. Neat. Got nothing else going on in my hand. I guess we'll see what's over there. There's their Adeline, so they're going to draw a turn. Yeah, they're going to draw a land next turn. Slam Adeline. Okay, they didn't draw land. There's hope. Alright, so now I've got a 4/4 that can eat their 3/1. I could play Lily, they just sacrifice the Lunarch Veteran and then it dies to the Intrepid Adversary, so let's not do that. Oh, they can't get the Knight Errant of Eos either? Okay. Maybe they didn't see the manland? Feels much better. So I do think this is a good turn to Lily, because now we get rid of their... Now they only have a 1/1. I could just Path of Peril. Let them play something for 3 when they do eventually hit a land. And then use Lily to get the bigger thing that Path of Peril doesn't hit. Probably should do that. They can bring it back if they don't hit a land. I mean, if they don't hit a land, they just replay this, though. I could also just play Lily and discard. Let's see. They might be playing Ossification. It's probably better than the Cavern of Souls. I think I might as well play Lily here. And then discard Cavern of Souls.
And I don't appreciate it. You won't be outsmarted.
Ossification check. Oh, Sanguine Evangelist. The perfect answer. Do I have any creatures? Where are all my creatures? Okay, so we can make it... If I order this correctly, we can wipe the board, right? I think I can control them here. So I think if we destroy each creature... Power 2. No, I have to make him sacrifice. No, how do I do this? Can't make them sacrifice first. So it's got to be here. I want it to be this first. And then this. But I think it reads down... Yeah. Alright. It's not perfect. I guess I play this and then make them discard. Could make them sacrifice the 1/1. Oh, no, I should have done that because of Adeline. Damn it. Okay, I should have made them sacrifice the 1/1. And then just did it again, because now they've gone wide. Alright, I punted. Alright, well, I guess we get their last card. Map token. Get rid of the Brutal Cathar. I can't activate this because it'll be tapped, right? I only have 4 mana, so... Reacher seems good. Seems like a good top deck. Wait, they're gonna trade me their Adeline? That seems odd. Should be okay here, right? Do I uptick? I think I uptick. We're both empty, but...
I'm tired of your secrets.
If I make them sacrifice, they lose a 1/1. That's not doing anything. That's a good top deck. Okay. I do start gaining... Next turn, I can start gaining 3 life a turn. Okay, we're going to need to. It's an awkward one to get. So if I hit... Let's see, they're hitting for... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this flips because of the knight. I could play Lily again, but then I can't activate the Restless Cottage. Damn it, I screwed this one up. I think I had this one and I punted it, because if I had done Lily and made them sacrifice the 1/1, they would have had to play Adeline out, and then I could just make them sacrifice it again. So, if you're playing this deck, keep that in mind. I think I'm just dead. 3, 4, 5, 6. I go to 1. Don't think it really matters. Okay. And Adeline is lethal. Damn it. Damn it, Mono White. No. It's possible they would have been able to crawl out of it anyway, but I definitely took a suboptimal line there. Now that's a matchup that this deck should do okay against, is Mono White, I think, off the top of my head. But man, that was a rough sesh. That was a rough sesh. Thanks for watching to the end of my video, and today was a little bit of a rough climb, honestly. Came up against a lot of not so great matchups, but the deck was, ended okay, ended positive, 55% win rate, 68% on the play, 42% on the draw. I do think there's some matchups that are quite favorable, and then there are some matchups that are not so favorable. The Boros Convoke matchup actually isn't super favorable. I bumped into a fair amount of Boros Control, which this deck did okay against. Same with the Azorius Control. So fair amount of control matchups. That's partly why I played for 6 hours and still was unable to get the 50 matches that I usually like to run. So I apologize for only running 38, but I've got to prep for the Arena Open and all of that stuff happening on Saturday. So Mono-Red is the deck that this deck does better against, and was really just small sample size, just 50-50, but I do expect this one to be pretty decent, and what was why I selected it as a meta breaker. So as long as you're coming up against the kind of subpar control matchups, this deck, this version with the Lilies, the 3 Lilianas, does reasonably well. We also played against Mono White, which I think is a favorable matchup. I did lose one just before, as you may have watched. And then after that, we start getting into some pretty small sample sizes. Temur Control was a bit of a problem. I did not win a single match there. And then Temur Control, right? So like control matchup, control matchup, control matchup. And part of this was Boros Convoke, but also control matchups. So I don't know what you've been experiencing on the ladder. Let me know in the comments below. But I think there's a lot of control right now. So just jam Mono-Red prowess and like punish those control players, right? And then, of course, as soon as you do that, you're not going to come up against any, right? Adjust the tinfoil hat. So, as far as the deck goes, it's in that situation where it's kind of similar to the temporary lockdown, where it's nice to have the Path of Perils, but against Boros Convoke, but sometimes this is just a dead card. And I think that personally, I would probably lean towards 2 copies instead of 3, unless you're coming up against a lot of Boros Convoke. And I did come up against 2 today that I lost both matches with. But even then, the Path of Peril isn't necessarily an answer because they do have the ability to rebuild. So Terra Sunder felt like it had lots of targets every time that I was playing it. Could be interesting to explore, maybe bringing in an additional Terra Sunder. It did feel like there was a lot of interaction in this list. So you got the cut downs, the go for the throats, and the long goodbyes. And I don't know if it's a little bit overkill with that much spot removal. It does help against the mono-red matchup to have that much, though. So again, this really should be lining up well against mono-red. Glissa Sunslayer felt kind of drawing a card and losing one life. Like, I feel like we could just get rid of Glissa. She's kind of come and gone throughout the weeks as far as whether or not she's included. And then I liked the Deadly Cover-Up. There was one game where I won by removing their single win condition in the 4-color Reanimator deck. I was able to remove the Rakdos Joins Up, and you could use it to get rid of the Hulking Metamorph too. So I kind of like having the one copy of this. That felt pretty good. And but you know, it doesn't feel like it's set up to be perfect, right? Especially with this resurgence of control. Definitely doesn't feel like it's a tier 1 deck with the current, you know, I'm always lagging behind by 1 week. So next Sunday I'll be talking about my meta breakers, and by the following week I'll give you the summary of how things went. Earlier on in the week, the deck was doing well, right? So I did share, I think on Tuesday, there was a segment here where I was slaying, right? 80% win rate. So part of it too is just matchups, how it's going to go. So that's Magic. So remember to click like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I try to do daily Magic Gathering content, content videos to help you guys better understand what's going on if you're new to returning to Standard. And, love geeking out about my favorite game. So let me know what's been working for you in the comments and such. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will, Sunday will be the Meta Breakers. Monday will be my meta review. And then Tuesday will be either stuff from the Arena Open, and kind of like Tuesday, Wednesday tends to be my draft-oriented stuff. And then next Friday, I'll be doing a best of 3 sideboard guide as well. So that's the general schedule. And thank you to all of the people who have clicked the join button to become YouTube members. I do appreciate it. So enough rambling from me. Take care, everybody. Good luck with your matches, and maybe I'll see you on the ladder.